Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. So the reason why I'm your bestie is because you know how like with your best friend or like your real friend, your good friend, you don't gotta talk to them every day, you don't gotta see them every day, but when you do connect with them, they got your back, they come through. That's why I'm here. For those of you that are new here, welcome new friends. My name is Tika, aka Fierceness. I am now an 8-year flight attendant. To God be the glory. He just keeps on blessing me and keeping me. So I come to you in gratitude. I am your flight attendant fairy godmother, your life coach. You know, I'm one of the OG flight attendant YouTubers that been around since like the beginning when like nothing was really out and people were kind of looking like for some flight attendant advice. I used to vlog and all that stuff back in the days. I don't do that stuff anymore. It's just not of interest to me. I'm in an element of my flight attendant career where I'm not doing the internationals anymore. Because when I was doing them, it was because those were incentive trips. So when I would pick them up, instead of like getting paid 16 hours for Paris, I was being paid 28 hours for Paris. And so one of the things that I've realized in life in general is that my time, our time, is so valuable. That's why I'm not going to keep you here for long. I'm just going to give you the information. You'll take it and you'll do with it what you need to. But your time is really, really valuable. So as a flight attendant, you always want to make sure you're flying smart, not hard. I do have notes here that I want to touch on because I'm getting a lot of new followers on Instagram. And I'm like, either they are trying to go vegan or they are coming from flight attendant life. Coupled with the new followers comes messages. And so I was like, oh, okay, I got a little bit of both. So with that being said, I figured it's the perfect time for me to pop back on here and just share my thoughts. All right, so guys, I want to first touch on the pay. This video will be great for all flight attendants, especially flight attendant hopefuls that may have multiple CJOs from major airlines trying to figure out, where do I go? What should I do? Do I make that career move? Do I take a leap? Do I step out on faith, or do I keep my little butt planted where I'm at and decide to become a flight attendant later in life, or maybe like a year from now? Now this video is not airline specific, but what I can tell you is you can look at the new higher pay rates across the airlines. What you need to understand is that hourly pay is from the time the door closes until the door opens. Personally, I wouldn't even tell my closest friend to become a flight attendant this day and age at this time with inflation, unless they were had a significant other, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or whatever that was making more and could really hold the household down while they learn the ropes, or B, they could live with family, C, had a roommate situation. Inflation is just so crazy. Y'all gonna hear noise. I live in Manhattan, they talking outside my window, y'all. Inflation is real. Like, I could go to the grocery store and I'm vegan and I'm spending $140, and I'm like, I got these 2 little bags, okay? I got some spinach, some kale, some bok choy, and some okra. Now let me stop. But y'all get what I'm saying. Like, you've been to the grocery store lately, unless you plan to significantly cut expenses, can live with somebody, are okay with like eating mad cups of noodles. I'm just being real. Really weigh everything before you know what I'm saying, leave your job that's paying you significantly, keeping your head above water, keeping you afloat. Because the last thing I want for you to do is to come into a new career where you're already learning the ropes, you're getting exhausted from the trips that they have you flying, and then you're broke. Let's just call it what it is. So just know that at this time right now, I wouldn't even recommend becoming a flight attendant to one of my closest friends unless they had other factors that would keep their head above water. So I'm gonna just keep it real. Now, if you've decided, you know what, I can stay above water, I can swim, I got this. Sorry, if you decide I got this, then let's move along. So I want to talk about just some things that I think are really important. See, I like to touch on areas that like a lot of people don't. I've realized that like when it comes to flight attendant life, the way that I see this, the way that I think about this is not how a lot of people do. So it came to me, right? And I put this here in my notes. I said, training focuses on passenger and crew safety only. But who's gonna help you focus on keeping your mental health safe? So that's exactly, I think, what I'm getting, or what I was getting at with that thought is like, yo, because correct me if I'm wrong, y'all can correct me in the comments, but I believe the FAA says it's 1 flight attendant per 50 passengers, which means essentially you guys are working together as a crew. But the FAA says, well, it's 1 per 50, so then you are responsible for their physical well-being, their emotional well-being, keeping them safe, all those things. Now, collectively, you guys are taking care of everyone, but they see it as 1 per 50, right? Because remember, you are there to keep them safe and in the event of an emergency to evacuate that aircraft. So with that being said, I said, wow. So, you know, some people, they go to a job where they're not responsible for caring for other people. Maybe they're dealing with numbers, they're working in finance, maybe they're cooking, right? Even though they're responsible for making the meal, it's not that they're dealing directly with that person's energy. Let's couple it back to energy, right? And so it's very important for you to take care of you. Your mental health needs to always be at an all-time high. If that means that you just worked a 2-day trip and you need to drop one of your trips because you need to take a mental break, make sure that you do that. As a new hire, or even as a, you know, flight attendant that's been flying for some time, you are given a line of trips to fly, and sometimes you burn out. But if you burn out, how are you really going to be present on the aircraft? Do you get what I'm saying? You find yourself in zombie mode, just going. I am never, ever going to tell you to not self-care. Like, for me, self-care is here. Do y'all see the top of my head? No, because that's just how high self-care is for me. I don't play about me, and I'm not here to encourage you to play about you. So I just wanted to, you know, that just came to my spirit, and I was like, I gotta get on here and share it with the people. So the other thing is, you don't want to have people around you that play about you or play about your mental health, play about your well-being. And so I talked about this a bit before, but you know, at the end of the day, like, when we're around people, right, that's all energy. It's all energy. And so you have to save some for you. So I was watching this video the other day on Instagram, and Tracy Ellis Ross, she summed it up so well, y'all. She was like, what did she say? She said, oh, I give big, so I have to restore big. I was like, she preaching to the people. And she was also saying, like, I'm not the friend. She was like, if I'm invited to a birthday party and then the after party, my friends already know I'm at one or the other. I'm not going to both. So I talked about this a bit before, with not feeling the need to put yourself out there with the crew or even with your friends and family at home. If you need to take care of you, if you need to, I'm a Cancer, okay? Because one thing about me, baby, I'm gonna go in my shell and take care of me. And they're gonna have to get somebody else to do it. So I want you guys to always prioritize your mental health. And because I prioritize my mental health, I'm not stressed with flying at all. This is why I love the New York base too, with the airline that I'm with, because I post my trips, they be gone. And I be like, oof. I just lay in bed, I'm gonna drink this tea and baby, you know? So in just trying to get back into this space, right? Like my YouTube space, thinking what I want it to look like. I am not the flight attendant that's gonna vlog and be like, hey guys, this is my layover. I'm not gonna tell you about my trips. I feel like I've outgrown that. I went through that era. And where I am now and understanding my purpose, I know that my purpose is people, but when it comes to flight attendant life, my purpose is helping you guys stay afloat. My purpose is mental health. My purpose is sustainability. How can you sustain in this lifestyle if you don't really have the tools, you know, or really know how to use those tools, right? Because one of my favorite readers here, tarot readers here on YouTube, you know, she talks about how people are just now realizing that they have all these tools in their toolbox. Like, you got a wrench, you got a screwdriver, like, hey, I can use that to do this, I can do that. So what I'm here to do is to help you understand how to navigate your way successfully as a flight attendant so that you can show up for you before you show up for your crew and before you show up for your passengers. So that's the avenue that I'm going to be taking you guys on, right? And so with that being said, my notes here that I have is that boredom is a mindset. And so you'll often hear flight attendants say, like, on board the aircraft, they can get bored and they find themselves eating a lot and gaining weight and things like that. And when we are not happy with us, we're not showing up for us, right? And so one of the things that I've been focusing on is my water intake. Again, they beeping outside, y'all, Manhattan. So a very special person in my life helped me understand food a bit more. And I've always had a really great relationship with food. I used to have a very unhealthy relationship with pasta, and I've done better because I literally used to eat it every single day. But point in case is that sometimes as flight attendants, you'll hear people say, I'm bored. And when people are bored, they start snacking and all of these things. And so if we can be more conscious of what we're putting in our bodies, we'll get better results with how we feel on the aircraft. We'll have more energy. You know, we just have to be very, very conscious. So for me, it's very, I guess it's it's pro for me, but it can be viewed as pro-con that I'm vegan if I didn't bring my food. So I don't rely on airplane food. I'm not eating the airplane food. So I'm very conscious in making an effort to bring food with me, because also, what if I get delayed and there's like not food choices in the airport? As a vegan, like, you can really eat anything, right? Like, you're like, oh, I could have some lettuce with some tomatoes, some avocado, whatever, but it's not always like easily accessible. You might find that salad in the airport, but it's already got like cheese all over it, so I'm not eating that. So with that being said, my notes here say, do not snack. When you feel the urge to snack, drink water. The airline that I work for, we have multiple snack options, but I usually will just have the granola or the pistachios. Occasionally I'll have those little vegan gummy bears, but not as much. But they be hitting, you know, if you need a little boost. But again, I'm not sitting there and like eating everything all day, all the time. I'm also not flying international because, like I told you guys before, those were like incentive trips. So I'm not on an aircraft very long. So my very special person helped me understand breakfast. You know, like, I'm from the South. So growing up, it was always like, you know, people would have bacon, not me, but they would have bacon, eggs, grits, biscuits, all sorts of heavy foods for breakfast. And really breaking down the breakfast, it's break fast, like take a break, you know? So I'm just always mindful of not putting heavy foods in my body and eating like as clean as possible. Now, one thing, my food won't be seasoned, but it's lighter. I try to make it a point to start my day with fruit and water. And so, you know, I can get the water from my fruit as well. And then my first like heavy meal is probably coming around maybe like 11, 12-ish. So I'm not like getting up working a 6 a.m. flight and eating something really heavy, because what you put in is what you're gonna get out. You'll hear a lot of flight attendants, I'm so tired, I'm this and that. Like, I don't drink coffee, you know, I don't even know what it tastes like. I've never had it. I'm not knocking people, but they say they need it or whatever to go. But I guess the point is remember, you have one body. You have to take care of it, and you have to take care of yourself, because whatever it is that you want to receive from your body, you have to put in. So if I am pouring in love, I'm hoping that my body will exude love. If that makes any sense at all, maybe it doesn't, but it makes sense to me. All right, so I want to talk about the fact that like people quit, because whether you have been here for some time or whether you're just stepping into this, I don't think that any sorry. I don't think any amount of training can train you for what this flight attendant life is about. There is so much that is really skipped. When I went to training, it was 7.5 weeks. And I know that like trainings now are not that long. And I still don't feel like, you know, you can learn everything that you need to about the flight attendant life. Like, it's just one of those things you learn as you go. It's kind of trial and error. You see what works, what doesn't. You just have to do your best to be your best. And you always have to just show up for you, and you have to like prepare for the unexpected and just kind of always be on your toes, because you never know. You know what I mean? It's like you could fly out today and you could be expecting to get back tonight. Like, let's say you could fly out tomorrow morning for a turn thinking you're going to get back tomorrow night, and it literally does not happen because you're rerouted or there's weather. And so those are the things that they kind of talk to you about, like the unexpected things. But I don't think that like people expect things like, oh, if I continue to eat the airplane food, I'm gonna gain an extra 15-20 pounds. It's just one of those things that like happens over and over and over again, because you're just eating, and next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm so unhappy, I'm so uncomfortable. So you just gotta be like mindful. So I have it here that we have to like be very mindful and intentional. We have to set our intentions. That's crazy to think, right? Like, set your intentions with, what do I want my day to look like as a flight attendant? And by setting those intentions and being intentional, you're like, okay, I'm gonna pack my food. That way I know if I'm hungry, these are the things that I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna stay away from this. I'm not gonna put that in my body because it's gonna make me tired. It's not gonna give me the results I want, and I'm gonna be unhappy, right? What I was getting at with the fact that like people quit, I think no matter how long you've been in this career, you may get to a point where you're like, this doesn't work for me anymore. Dynamics change, people's situations change, what people want in life changes. Maybe you don't want to move, maybe you like move away from your base and now you don't want to commute for different reasons. But also, especially like as a new hire, when you come in, it's like, yo, they ain't tell me about this. But the flip side to all of that is that there are new hires out here, baby. They are flipping, flopping, tipping, topping their schedule, and I love that for them. So the flexibility in this life is, if you put in the work, you get the result. I am no longer on A days or reserve days, but even when I would make it a point to swap my reserve days for a trip, because it's just so much easier to have the trip and then kind of maneuver it from there. So the one thing about flight attendant life, the flight attendant career, is there's something for everybody. But you just have to ask yourself, am I willing, truly willing, to put in the work? And not just the work with your schedule, not just the work in training to earn your wings, the work to sustain your mental health, the work to have the body that you want, live the life that you ultimately desire. Because there is nothing to glorify about having earned your wings but being so unhappy in this career. All in all, the purpose of this video is to help you as you go through maybe training, or go through making a decision about the best airline for you, or trying to figure out ways that you can feel better, be better as a flight attendant, as a person. I just think that flying is such a big part of our lives, whereas if it wasn't, then we wouldn't have to be like, I ain't worried about my mental health, I ain't gotta worry about them passengers or dealing with them people, because I only fly one day a month. Like, no, like, we fly. We won't just fly, we fly, okay? And so because of those factors of us flying so much, we have to figure out the best ways to take care of us. And I'm not sitting here and acting like it's always easy, but we do have to do a personal vibe check. We do have to go within and be like, am I good? No, I'm not good. Okay, I need to drop my trip. Like I said, like, for me, my time is my biggest thing. My time is so important. How do I want to spend my time? Do I want to spend 3 days flying an international flight with a 24-hour layover that's going to put me on a different time zone continuously all the time, only be paid 16 hours for my 3 days? Or do I maybe want to fly 3 high time turns in 3 days and get 24 hours? Or, you know, if it's possible to get 3 10-hour turns, which I ain't flying no 10-hour turns. But my point is, like, 30 hours in 3 days, 16. Get to sleep in my bed at night, away on a different time zone. Okay, if I need to get something, yeah. But again, this is how I look at this. What is it gonna do for my mental health? Okay. Do I wanna work on that plane? No, I don't like that plane. Like, this is literally how I look at it. And I don't think that this is seniority driven. I say that because if you're willing to put the work in, you can reap benefits. And I know that that's not airline specific. Like, I hear people all the way, I read posts all the time where people are like, I think at Southwest or something like that, they can sell their trips or get paid or something like that. Maybe they say, oh, I don't feel good today, I'm gonna put this up and pay somebody to work my trip, whatever it is. But I think it's Southwest that can do that. But I read things all the time. But at the end of the day, what I love the most is that people are prioritizing their mental health. They're putting themselves first. And that's what I want you guys to continue to do. The tone of this video may not have been what you were expecting. But again, if you are just walking into this career, I want you to make sure that you truly look at the financial aspect of it. With inflation going on, and maybe you have a second source of income, because it's real out here in these streets. Okay, so in the meantime, in between time, until you see me again, make sure you continue to stay beautiful. Let your light shine. Let nothing or no one stop you from growing, glowing, and sustaining as a flight attendant or a flight attendant hopeful. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.